listening to this song, it helps you understand a couple of things, and it just reminded me of a certain video, a particular video that I saw yesterday of police brutality, and apparently it's almost like the police headed over to the Center of Accounting Studies and then immediately started assaulting students simply because they went on a riot demanding payment from the National Manpower Development Secretariat, a payment of which they are entitled to because they signed a contract. And some of the scenes that occurred there were captured on footage by some students, and I want to emphasize that after viewing that video, I just want to say that every single time when we look at law enforcement officers, we are supposed to feel protected, we are supposed to feel safe, and yet most of the time, I'll be honest and I'll speak for myself, the only thing that I feel every single time when I see law enforcement officers is just simple paranoia. It's almost as if when you see them, what are they going to say to you? What are they going to do to you? Because they have a history and they have a reputation of harming people, of harming the citizens of this country. And it also became a wake-up call to me, and hopefully it will become a wake-up call to all the citizens of this country, that it is quite important and it is quite essential that people learn to understand their rights, learn more about your rights. I understand that people say ignorance is bliss, but in this particular case, it's imperative that we learn our rights so that you know how to behave and how to act accordingly to the laws of this country, and how to behave, most importantly, in the presence of the law. Because if you understand those things, then you will carry yourself with grace. Anyway, 16 minutes after the hour of 1, let us take this song coming straight from Alpha Blondie saying Coco de Rasta, and then we're gonna take a double play from Toots and the Maytals saying Take Me Home, Country Roads, and then we might actually finish it off with some Barney Whaler, and then after that we're gonna jump right into our sports news. Into our sporting news updates, man. What I did realize is that we didn't have any kind of action in the UEFA Champions League or in the Betway Premier Soccer League, which is the South African Football Soccer League, for those of you around the world who might not know what it is. But we did have a couple of games taking place in the UEFA Europa League, a lot of games for that matter, and I'm hoping that some of these matches were not going to plan, because I know that some of you are actually gamblers out there, betting people, and when things don't go according to plan, or when when the teams don't perform according to what you bet, you end up losing. But anyway, let's take a look at yesterday's results in the Europa League. So in the first game, we had Bologna taking on SC Freiburg, and after full time, after 90 minutes, that game ended in a 1-1 draw. We also had Brand taking on FC Utrecht, and Brand ended up winning that particular game by 1-0. We also had Celtic taking on Sporting Braga, and Sporting Braga were on winning terms in that particular game, winning that game by 2-0 after full time, taking on the 3 points, climbing up the table. We also had FC Victoria Pleasant taking on Malmo, and Victoria Pleasant were the victors in that game, winning that game by 3-0. We also had FCSB taking on BSC Young Boys, and Young Boys were the victors in that game, winning that game by 2-0. We also had Fenerbahce taking on Nice, and Fenerbahce ended up winning that game by 2-1. Very close game, and what a game it was. So after full time, Fenerbahce were the victors by 2-1. Panathinaikos was also in action against Go Ahead Eagles, and a lot of people might assume that this was supposed to be an easy game for Panathinaikos, and they would end up winning. But this is football, man. Things don't always go according to the script or according to plan. That's the beauty of this game. So Go Ahead Eagles ended up winning that game by 2-1. We also had Ludogorets taking on Real Betis, and Real Betis were the victors in that game, winning that game by 2-0, while Lille ended up upsetting Roma by 1-0. And like I said, man, this is football and things don't always go according to plan. So Lille were the victors, winning that game by 1-0. We also had Basel taking on Stuttgart, and Basel ended up winning that game by 2-0, while Celta de Vigo were also on winning terms against PAOK Salonika, winning that game by by 3-1. 3-1 was the final score in that particular game. We also had FC Porto taking on Svena Zvezda, and Porto were the victors in that game, winning that game by 2-1, while Ferencvaros, I don't know how to pronounce this, Ferencvaros were the victors against Genk, winning that game by 1-0. Feyenoord was also in action, taking on Aston Villa, and Aston Villa ended up winning that particular game by 2-0 after full time. We also had Lyon taking on Red Bull Salzburg, and after 90 minutes, Lyon walked away with the victory, winning that game by 2-0, while Dynamo Zagreb were also on winning terms against Maccabi Tel Aviv, winning that game by 3-1. We also had Nottingham Forest taking on FC Midtjylland, and FC Midtjylland ended up winning that game by 3-2, a 5-goal thriller it was, and after 90 minutes, FC Midtjylland came out on top, slightly so. 3-2 was the final score. We also had Storm Graz taking on Rangers, and a lot of people might assume that Rangers would actually wind up winning this game, but alas, it was not meant to be. So Storm Graz were the victors in that game, winning that game by 2-1. Now, I want us to take a look at today's action matches that you can look forward to today. So in the Premier League, we have Bournemouth taking on Fulham, and that game kickoff will be at 8:00 p.m. Central African Time. 8:00 p.m. Central African Time. In the Bundesliga, we have TSG Hoffenheim taking on Cologne, and kickoff will be at 7:30 p.m. Central African Time. Now, shifting our attention to La Liga, we also have one game taking place, and that is the game between Osasuna and Getafe. Kickoff will be at 8:00 p.m. Central African Time. In the Italian Serie A, we also have one game, and that's the game between Verona and Sassuolo. Kickoff will be at 7:45 p.m. Central African Time. So this is all that we have from your sporting news updates. So right about now, let us take this song coming straight from one of the greatest reggae musicians of all time, in the likes of Bunny Wailer. For those of you who don't know who Bunny Wailer is, when they say Bob Marley and the Wailers, Bunny Wailer was one of the Wailers. So yes, he is from that particular crew. Anyway, Bunny Wailer saying Cool Runnings, and then we're going to take Dennis Brown saying If I Had the World, and then we're going to finish it off with Bunny Wailer once again saying Botheration, and then after that we're going to take Gregory Isaac saying My Nine Nerves.